Hi there, I'm Matt Farrar. This is Joe Clements. We're live here at Strategic Digital Services in Tallahassee, and we've got a few things coming up for you today. We're going to talk about Facebook engagement. We're going to talk about what broke the internet this week in Florida politics and national politics, and talk to you a little bit about what you can do for the upcoming Facebook changes. We're going to take your questions live below, as well as a few questions we've got in advance. So if you've got something you want to talk about digital media, you want to talk about Facebook, or you want to talk about what broke the internet and politics this week, just hit us in the comments below and we'll try to take your question live on air. Rebecca, what's first?
This week, Facebook released the process for verifying political ads. What did you guys learn?
I learned that I'm scared. No, so Facebook this week finally put out the details on how political pages have to verify that they're not robots and not Russians and are in fact Americans living in the United States. And the way the process works is very simple. It's only 24 steps according to Facebook's own memo on how to do it. No, it's actually not that bad. It's you go in, has an advertiser on the account, and so if you're say a small campaign and you're working Facebook on your own, you'd have to do this, but they'll prompt you, you'll click it, you'll log in using your password, and then you submit your mailing address, and Facebook sends you a card with a number to verify that you do in fact live in that address, and then you give a photo of your license front and back. And then the part I actually don't like that I'm not sure how I feel about it is you give them the last four digits of your social security number. I'm told that they delete that once they verify who you are, but the record of any internet company on data personally it isn't very strong.
Awesome.
And look, Facebook doesn't have a lot of actual sensitive information on me or most people. The last four of my social, I'd prefer to keep that under wraps as much as possible.
It's better than your whole social security
That's
number.
true. I mean, it's probably out on the internet anyway. It's probably, you can get it from some Ukrainian website for 10 cents. But, my piece of
Delta had a data breach this week. SunTrust had a data breach this week. So it's probably floating around somewhere.
Yeah. So Facebook, you win. We've already started the process. We're doing it for everybody here in-house. Please let us continue buying ads on your platform. One other thing that it looks like is a change from what we were being told the last few weeks is that the campaign archive was just going to apply to federal. It looks like now it's going to apply to anything that you run as a political ad. So you actually do a little checkbox political ad, and it looks like now it will apply to any race as a political ad. Still no details on how that's going to be implemented. How it's implemented makes a big difference as far as the strategy, and if you want to look back at the last week, we talk about this in some detail for federal races, how we're planning on handling it. That strategy is roll into state and local races. Not a huge difference maker necessarily in how we think about Facebook, but something worth considering for smaller campaigns. Got any more thoughts on the Facebook?
No, I mean we're continuing to kind of feed you this information as we get it, so we'll continue releasing it as we know more. We've got a big chunk of documents, like you said, from Facebook this week that spelled out what Joe just laid out for you. We still don't know what we talked about last week in terms of are they going to have the archive for political ads show at a more 30,000 foot campaign level, or if it's going to be at the ad set and ad level. So we still do have that concern about whether or not you could essentially go and look at your competitors' ads and see exactly who they're targeting, who the voters that they want to go after are, or whether it will be fairly easy to just kind of slip a dummy ad in there that broadens the search parameters and makes it so your opposition can't see exactly who you're talking to. So that's something we're going to continue to monitor for sure. Rebecca, we have another question.
Yeah, today Florida Politics published an op-ed you gentlemen wrote about the importance of Facebook engagement. Can you run through the contents of that article for viewers?
They sure did. Thanks, Peter. We appreciate you publishing our op-ed about how to get engagement on Facebook. Joe, you want to share a little bit about what we talked about in there?
Yeah, so first thing is whenever we start working with a client, and look, whenever you look at most pages in Florida politics or politics generally, what you notice is people are posting. They seem to be putting effort into posting, taking pictures at the right angle, putting filters on, writing things that are clever, insightful. and then crickets when they post. So our philosophy on this is if you're going to spend time on doing a page post, it may as well work. The audience may as well engage. So what's an engagement? First of all, well, that's going to be an action the audience takes with the content. So that could be a like, it could be a click on a link, it could be a share, it could be a comment. The reason those are important is it's usually an indicator that people care about what you're talking to them about. If no one, just like your personal post, if no one likes, shares, or comments, it probably didn't go over too well.
It doesn't make you feel good.
Yeah, it doesn't make you feel good. And that goes for candidates too. They're people. They want to feel good about their post. So how do you get engagement on post? Well, look, the first thing is all of these companies now, they're businesses. So if you push that boost post button and put a few bucks in there, you're going to get some reach. That's the nature of the game. But how do you get something that can maybe approach viral or get good traction? We have 3 rules. Rule number 1 is be bold with what you say. Don't say anything timid or boring. Use strong political language. If you're doing a good job building your page audience, it should be your audience of mostly your supporters or true believers in what you believe in. So you can come right out and say, on the conservative side, when our founders wrote "shall not be infringed," they knew what they meant. And on the liberal side, you can say something. You can have a picture of a kid with a gun, a picture of a kid. I saw an ad campaign like this the other day, and a kid with a I think it was a marble or something like that. It's like one of these things, is illegal for a child to possess, and so you can get really strong with the language, and that works. You got to catch people's attention.
The second one is we say that it's easier to ride a wave than to make a wave. So what this means is talk about what's happening in the world, whether it's current events, whether it's what you've seen in the news, or culture. A huge amount of what we see online has to do with culture. But talk about what's already happening instead of trying to make something happen. Instead of trying to start a hashtag campaign on your own, attach to one that already exists. There's a reason people are already talking about it on the internet, and you will find much more success if you jump into something that people are already discussing than if you try to force them to discuss what you want to discuss.
Unless your name is Kanye West or Donald Trump, then do whatever you want.
Yep. And before we go to the third one, we talk a lot about Facebook because that's where a huge number of voters are. That's where a huge number of content's being consumed. But this applies pretty much across the board. We're talking about Twitter or Instagram or anywhere else. We talk about it a lot in the context of Facebook just because Facebook's huge. They've been in the news a lot, and it's where a lot of our content here at our company goes. But most of these principles apply pretty much across the board. You want to tell us the third one?
Sure. The third one is make a call to action, make an ask. Probably the most common element we see missing from many engagement posts is tell the audience what you want them to do. It's kind of cliche at this point, but it still works. Like and share if you agree.
Yep.
I support the Second Amendment. Like and share if you agree. I support the right of women to choose. Like and share if you agree. It's been around for a long time, but it works. If you want someone to click here to get this great deal. Click here to donate to my campaign. Make a direct call to action. The call to action on Facebook specifically has always been treated with a little bit of derision over time. Like Facebook every couple of years announces that they're not going to allow you to promote content that says, like and share, or says,
or that they're going to punish it,
or they're going to punish it.
Reach.
It has never, in my experience, never been the case.
Yep.
Look, exception to the rule here. If you have a home run, strong piece of content, like the video is just so compelling, the graphic is so compelling, the message is so compelling, you don't need to make a call to action, like or share. People will do that on their own. The big issue is it's incredibly difficult to be on that sort of content routinely and all the time. I would say 1 in every 20 pieces of client content is the type of content that's so good and strong, it can just be what it is, and people want to self-express by sharing it.
And those home runs on their own are usually one of two things, right? They're coming from someone that is so big and has so much reach that it is just going to get to the audience no matter what and go wide across the system, or it is just absolutely the perfect message at just the right time, that you hit it just on the perfect crest of the wave, talking about the right thing when it was going to resonate with the audience.
Our final question is, there have been both shocking and exciting headlines recently, as you may have seen. What would you say broke the internet this week?
Kanye. Kanye broke the internet. So the funny thing...
Kanye and Kim Jong.
True. Korea. So let's do that in a second. The Kanye one is interesting to me because as soon as it was tweeted, it became a meme. I think Donald Trump was like, thinks Kanye very cool, and the internet is now filled with thousands of memes where it's a random picture and the Donald Trump tweet thinks Kanye very cool. But what is, I have a story from this morning. I was talking to somebody like, oh, did you see the Kanye memes? I was like, oh no, I haven't seen it. And they showed me the meme, and it was funny. Like, oh, what did he actually say? No one knew what Kanye actually originally said. They just knew about the meme. Like, the pop culture element of the pop culture icon is actually what was remembered, not even what that person actually said.
Yep.
And then North Korea?
North Korea and South Korea, I mean, I'm not going to recite the news for you. That's not what we're here to do. But I do think it's interesting. You're going to see everyone and their brother try to claim credit for this, right? I mean, obviously, Donald Trump is going to statewide success. You're going to have people on the other side of the aisle try to claim that, it was... it was the work that the Obama administration set for several years in place that allowed this to happen. So, I mean, just like any success in the, in the political or the nationwide news system, like everyone's going to claim credit for it. So,
yeah, and tying this all back to the engagement graphic concept, these are the type of stories you want to look for to attach your message onto, because these are the waves that are easy to jump on and surf, and being out there on the on that and putting your message to it is what tends to work with social media. Do we have anything else?
Nope, that's all.
Excellent. All right. Well, another week in the books, and we'll be back up next week with some more Q&A.